Welcome back to Women's Wealth, The Middle Way, the show that answers your questions about work, money, and family. My name is Susan McGlory Michael, and I am the CEO and founder of Glen Eagle, a wealth management firm in New Jersey.
My name is Carol Ann Fernandez, and I'm the COO of Glen Eagle. We're very excited today to be joined by our guest and entrepreneur, Kim Wright. Kim owns 4 Nothing Bundt Cake stores in Pennsylvania, and she's also the CEO of Wright Commissioning. Kim is also the mother of 4 boys, so very busy. Welcome, Kim.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe we can just start off by sharing some background with our listeners about yourself.
Sure. I am actually a Texas girl living in Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and I've lived here in Philadelphia for about 13 years.
I'm a New Jersey girl currently living in Tennessee, so.
How funny. Well, the South is a great place. I've also spent some time in Maryland and in Hawaii where I met my husband. I spent a little time in a few places, and I've taken a little bit from all of them.
Great. And how did you get involved in Nothing Bundt Cake?
My husband and I work together we've been doing Wright Commissioning for quite a few years here in Philadelphia. It's a commissioning firm. It specializes it's a very niche field in the construction industry and commercial construction. We were doing that, working together. We had 3 sons at the time, so we were already busy. And one day he said, we should diversify our income and consider doing something else. And I thought, that's a terrible idea. We already have so much going on. And I thought that he might not pursue the idea, but he started looking at bars and restaurants. We met bartending in Hawaii, and I thought, oh no, I could not go back to those days. Those were great days, but I could not do it with the 3 sons that we had at the time. So I brought up the idea of franchising. I thought if we were going to do something additional, we already knew what it was like to be a small business owner and how much effort and energy it really took. And I thought if we could do something that had some parameters, at least it would shoulder the burden a little bit more. So I introduced that idea, again, thinking that he might just pursue something or look into it, but then maybe he would become disinterested. So he started looking around at different franchises, and one day he came home and was really excited. And he said, I talked to the people at Batteries Plus today. And I thought, I can't do that. That does not sound exciting at all. So I decided I needed to be part of that conversation. I started thinking of the things that I loved in Texas that I might be able to bring here, because if we were going to do something, I wanted to be able to scale it if we liked it and if it was successful. And one of my favorite things from Texas was Nothing Bundt Cake. I was a loyal guest and customer. I loved their products. If you've ever been inside the stores, they're very bright. Unlike a lot of bakeries, there's a lot of retail in there, a lot of things that you can purchase like coffee mugs and wine glasses, some jewelry, dish towels, anything for any occasion. So I loved shopping in there for myself and for my friends. And they have a delicious product that I already loved. So that's how we ended up with Nothing Bundt Cakes.
That's great. You have 4 stores in Pennsylvania right now. Is that right?
We do. Our first location we opened in 2018 in Wynwood. Now we also have locations in Springfield in Delaware County, in Wayne, as well as in Collegeville.
Do you guys have plans for the future? Are you thinking 4 is enough, or are you thinking you're going to keep expanding?
I would tell you this, as an entrepreneur, I'm always open and looking for a potential opportunity. We're open to doing more. I really love it. Aside from loving the brand from Texas, I think that what really called me to the brand and sealed the deal in us doing it and then in pursuing more was that they had 3 core values, which are the ability to make genuine connections, a servant's heart, and the spirit of a champion. They're looking for that as a franchisor to their franchisees, and it really speaks to my heart. And so because of that, I definitely could see us doing more in the future.
So let's shift gears a little bit. I work in a family business, not with my husband, but with my mom and brother, and grew up with 2 entrepreneur parents, so I know how crazy entrepreneurs are. Can you talk a bit about the balance of working with your husband and in a family business?
Absolutely. So what I try to tell everybody is our life really has no balance. I do every day what I call embracing the imbalance. And when I was young, certainly as a young professional and as a young couple, as a young mom, I really every day was trying to pursue that balance. And then when I didn't achieve it, I felt disappointed and almost like a failure, or like I was anticipating a failure professionally, personally, whatever it happened to be. One day I just decided, you know what, we're going to let go of what that traditional thought process is, and I'm just going to embrace all of the good things that I have going on. Sometimes that means that I'm really successful as a mom, and some days it means I'm really successful as a business owner. And a lot of times those days line up, but a lot of times they don't. And the more that I embrace my imbalance and let go of the idea that I have to have the balance in order to be truly successful and happy, the happier I became. So I would say that's my challenge to everybody, is to just really do what works for you. And if balance is what you need and that works for you, then great, do that. If you can accept, like I do, an imbalance and a success in different things on different days, then do that.
You probably don't know this, but that's actually the middle way that's in our title of this podcast, was actually formed by our CEO, Susan Michael, for that exact reason. She talks a lot about, similar to you, how there's no right way to do it. And you almost have to have your own middle path of, there's no balance, I guess, as you say, between work and family when you're an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. It's about doing what makes you happy in all fronts. And at some point and on a lot of days, they do get to merge and be in the same place at the same time.
So you said you have 4 boys. I'm sure they've been dragged around to the business quite a bit. How has that been? Do you feel like any of them are maybe interested in being entrepreneurs because of you guys?
I definitely think that it's something that we talk about constantly, even as we take them to sports. All 4 of my boys play travel ice hockey, so they do a lot of individual coaching and other things. And when we go, we can't help as entrepreneurs but talk to them about their different coaches and who they like as trainers, who I might like as the person who's driving them and paying the bills, and how that person business owner, their either acknowledgement of me as the mom that's driving them is going to get them repeat business as much as them liking the training that they're receiving, and how those two things merge. We definitely talk about business at their young ages. My oldest is 13. We have twins that are 11, and my youngest is 5. Really do hope that one day they'll pursue the bakeries or Wright commissioning, whichever makes them happy. But I definitely would be open to them doing whatever they would like to do. And if they would like to pursue their own individual business, I certainly would be excited to see that and do whatever I can to support it.
We always ask our last question of all our podcast guests, what advice would you give to someone who might be considering starting a new business?
I would say choose something that you're really passionate about, because the struggle is real. But if you love it, you'll always be ready to wake up the next day and continue the fight, because a lot of days it is a fight, particularly in the infancy of your business, whatever it happens to be. Life and things get in the way. The balancing act that we talked about it's a burden, particularly as females. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves to wear all the hats and do all the things and to do them to perfection. So people always ask me, oh, did you love baking? Do you bake a lot of things in your home? And I would say, no, I'm just an entrepreneur, and I happened to find a brand that was a bakery, but I loved everything that the brand had to do with. So aside from the core values, they're all about community outreach and community participation and giving back. And that the more that we give, the more that we'll receive in return. And that really spoke to me. So because of that, my bucket is filled every day, because we're able to participate and be a part of the community. And every day I get to hear about how we're at people's dinner tables and part of their celebrations. And that helps me to get up every day on the days where we're short-staffed or we're dealing with high cost of goods or things that are a real challenge as a business owner. But those other things that are on the peripherals that are still daily allow me to want to continue to make it work and make it happen. I just say pick something you're passionate about, because it's really, and again, for me, it's not baking. It just happens to be this brand and the format that they follow. So it doesn't always have to be strictly the field that you're passionate about, but there has to be something real in what you're doing that creates your passion.
Yeah, I think that's so true, especially as entrepreneurs and women, as you said. It's a lot of work, and trying to balance it all between families and working. You definitely have to like what you're doing, or it's not going to be easy to get up every day. But As someone who's tried your cakes, I know a lot of our listeners, if they haven't, will be trying them because they are delicious.
I hope so.
Well, thank you, Kim, for joining us.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Women's Wealth, The Middle Way. Make sure to subscribe to us and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast app. Join us for new episodes every other Wednesday. See you in 2 weeks.